Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world of the International Fabtalks. We are happy to connect with one and all across the globe, especially our unsung heroes, especially those people who have done their very best for themselves, their families, and the society. Join us, friends, to welcome our celebrity and guest for today, who has agreed to share her time with us and share her wisdom that she has gained through all of these years of working for a better cause. She's connected with psychology and she is the co-founder of We Empower. Do you want to know her name? Yes, I shall share it in a moment. She is none other than Miss Gayathri T. She's joining us all the way from Chennai, a lovely person. Let's get to know more about her journey and celebrate her life on the International Fabtalks. I would like you to take her as an inspiration and carry on your journey and find a beautiful path and create happiness in this universe. Hello, ma'am, and welcome to the session, dear.
Hi, thank you so much for the warm words. And I'm indeed very happy, and it's a pleasure for me to be a part of International Fab Talks. You've been doing an amazing job, and this online platform will be inspiring for many youngsters and people who want to pursue in various fields.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being humble, and thanks for accepting the invitation. In spite of having a busy schedule, you've taken out the time. We appreciate that. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, absolutely.
Thank you, dear. Dear ma'am, I go ahead and share your profile and then we begin the session.
True.
Thank you. Friends, it's now time to share the profile of our celebrity and guest. We'll get to know more about her and then we have a beautiful session as to how she's been able to overcome all the challenges in her life and become a wonderful psychologist and, of course, the co-founder of We Empower and as well as being connected with POSH, POCSO, etc. Now, friends, let me just share her profile. She's completed her schooling in Chennai. She pursued an undergraduation course in humanities from Women's Christian College, Chennai. She's completed a master's in psychology from the University of Madras. She pursued a PG diploma in integrated management from the from the Madras Productivity Council. I repeat that again to make it very clear. She pursued PG diploma in integrated management from the Madras Productivity Council and development disabilities from the University of Madras, counseling psychology from the University of Madras again. She's a certified POSH trainer, that is prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. That's really wonderful to stand up for women. And the next part is she's also a certified POCSO trainer, like she's been working for children and enabling them to stand up and voice any form of abuse. That's really nice. That is protection for children against sexual offences. That's wonderful. She's a wonderful trainer and she's connected with HeadwayAcademy, Chennai. Her work experience is really vast. She's the wonderful co-founder of We Empower. Now, the word We Empower itself really is empowering. Let's get to know as to what does We Empower contribute to the success of the other people around her. She's also the president of Yuvathi with the objective of concentrating on what? Enriching mental hygiene. That's beautiful. She worked as the project head for ANI, Alliance for Nurturing the Individuals, that works for Tamil Nadu government schools to enhance psychological and emotional well-being in children. This is the most important thing. Marks come second, but the first thing that comes is the mental hygiene or the mental peace and the emotional stability. The EQ part of a child or maybe an employee as well is the most important thing. She's a child psychologist with specialization in children with development delay. A part-time consultant psychologist in Apollo Life for TCS. Mount Road, Thoraipakam, Siruserai and Sholignor, if I get those words right. She's a consultant at Mind Cave for Kola, Saraswati Agarwal Health Center, Veperi and Nitra, Annanagar. She conducted several workshops on mental health hygiene and POSH and soft skill training at VIT, that is Vellore Institute of Technology, Chennai, Jerusalem Engineering College, Mahalakshmi College of Art and Science, SRM College, and Kantana Kallatur, if I can get that word right. I'm unable to pronounce that very well. For students and faculty members, she's a guest lecturer at Anna Adarsh College and MSSW as well. She also belongs to the POSH panel. She's a member over there Recode Solutions at Chennai, Royal Cyber Southern Division. She's connected with Siam Computing, the Unicorn people at Mumbai, Lingaros Bursons at Chennai, and Brand Ambassador for Mental Wellness International Women's Organization. Now, this is the beauty of being a woman of substance, being able to contribute not only to her growth, but to the growth of people around her. This is what makes us extra special when we bond and network with people across the world. Ma'am, you have a beautiful profile, dear, and I'm really happy that you've chosen these beautiful fields to be in, concentrating on mental health hygiene and as well as emotional well-being. Because there are several people who are into the IT sector for various other reasons. You connected with the human mind and the emotional stability of an individual makes you extra special on the international Fabtalks. Yes, dear. Dear ma'am, how would you define yourself? I just shared your profile. How will you be able to describe yourself for all our viewers today?
Actually, that was a much elaborate profile of mine from the International Fab Talk. And I actually believe, as a very simple person, and just being contentful with life, I think that is what really gives us inner peace and happiness. So these days we don't see people very happy, even a small child for that matter. Most of them, they are either frustrated or angry or sad. And even the playthings, they get saturated immediately. They play with the most the toys or whatever, the branded toys or the playstations. They get very, very saturated immediately. So they keep looking up for new things. They explore new toys, new playstations. It's like, the happiness is not a long time process. For that matter, happiness, for even for adults or anyone, it's not a long time process. We do have stages of ups and downs. That is what life is meant for. But the coping mechanism, or at least the happiness that lasts for a few days, is not seen in people today. Most of them are very sad, or grumpy, or they have some kind of regrets in life. So I feel being a contentful person in one's life, and serving a cause, and growing up with people, it's just not leading people, it's growing up with people and learning is very important for every human being. So that is what innately gives us confidence and boosts our self-esteem.
Yes, dear. That's very, very nice of you to share the word contentment, satisfaction, inner peace, which is the need of the hour. I truly agree with you. The youngsters of today are grumpy, sad, or depressed because I think they overdo things or they over expect things from their surroundings. I think to be satisfied with what you have, to have gratitude in life, is the key to one's peace of mind and happiness. That's really nice to start off the session with gratitude and satisfaction. Dear ma'am, that's wonderful. Now, before we go further ahead into the session, I would like to know about your journey with regard to We Empower. Yes, dear.
So it's like, I did my schooling in Chennai, and I was the only child. And those days, psychology was just a new, career. It wasn't very buzzing like how it is these days. So when I pursued psychology, there were a lot of questions from people around saying that, how come you chose this profession? But I think I had a passion towards this, and I was always, told by my friends that I was a very good listener. And also I never used to judge people, so that made me have a lot of wonderful friends from my childhood till date. I treasure them so much, and it's such a blessing that I'm able to balance between my family, a beautiful family who supports me constantly, be it my husband or my children. And apart from that, my friends, they are such positive vibes. They always keep motivating me to any extent, and that gives me strength, and it's like a boost for me. It's a boost for me, actually. And apart from that, I'm able to hit a balance professionally, because I'm able to take up all this positivity there as well. And that is how I started We Empower, because without this motivation and encouragement, I would not have dared to step in and start an organization. I had a few like-minded people when I was doing my PG diploma, and that's how we just started it as a small dot, and we've expanded it slowly to corporates, to schools, to management institutions, and to any sector. So psychology is a subject where it cannot be ignored in any field. So be it in medical profession, or be it with IT, or be it with the police personnel, be it with teachers, be it with students, be it with geriatrics, we can just plunge in anywhere, because all that we want is to make a difference and serve a cause. So that's how we empower boomed.
What a beautiful vision, ma'am. I like the way you put it. We started off as a dot and we branched out in a beautiful way. And you said every segment of life, it could be the youth, the corporate level, the schools, the colleges, the senior citizens, and every single person requires, a good counselor in case if they need one, and at the right time when they need one. And psychology does play an important role in everybody's life. Being a good listener and being non-judgmental has contributed to your success and growth. That's wonderful. Much appreciated. Friends, this is what is called as being a wonderful human being and a blessing to the universe. She's Gayathri here with us, with all the part within her to transform lives. Let's get to know more about her. Dear ma'am, you also associated with POSH, and how did this journey begin? And as well as with POCSO. So how did this start up?
I think, initial days POSH was not, it wasn't aware to many people. Though the Banwari Devi case in Rajasthan, the judgment was made in almost late 90s. It was not made mandatory in organization to protect or safeguard the safety of the women under the roof. So this was made mandatory in 2013 when the Nirbhaya incident happened. It really shook the nation. And it's just not one person. It's just not Nirbhaya. There have been a lot of Nirbhayas for ages. For that matter, even Banwari Devi, when she was assaulted by a group of people in a village where she was working, inside the public health center where she was working, she was gang raped, and when she was trying to run for her justice, she ran pillar to pole, but she was not able to get a justice for her assault. And that's when Visakha, it's a NGO which supports and empowers women, they came in and they had filed a suit against the people, and they got in justice for Banwari Devi. So that's when the government also had stated that women have to be safeguarded in the workplace. It was in late 90s, but it was not mandatory, as I said earlier. So it was mandatory in 2013 when the Prohibition, Prevention and Redressal came in after Nirbhaya's incident. And that's when there were lots of news on the media, there were lots of news on papers, and the whole nation was shaken. And it gave me a spark as well. Being a mental health profession, when all the people were really discussing about it anywhere, in the tea stalls, when I used to travel in the auto driver used to, talk about that. So it was it was a nationwide awareness that was created. So that's when I thought I should enroll myself, because the government was coming up with lots of courses to certify trainers, be it lawyers or psychologists who can reach out for organizations. So that's when I got certified myself under HeadwayAcademy, and I started to, conduct sessions in corporates. This is actually very important, and lots of corporates are implemented this for the safety of the women working there. And any organization with minimum of 10 employees are supposed to have a POSH panel. So I am an external panel member because I'm associated with a NGO called Yuvathi, which caters for mental health. It's been started by one doctor, Mrs. Sumati Chandrasekharan. Her vision is to make a happy pan India. So that way, you have to be associated with an NGO if you have to be a POSH panel member. So I am the external panel member for various organizations, and they also have an internal committee, ICC, which governs the initial issues or complaints that is raised by. In case if they're not able to bring it forward, they actually rope in the external panel members, and we go there for inquiry and try to do our best to cater the needs in POSH.
Yes, dear. Thank you for that elaborate and clear explanation. You've given a lot of clarity as to what it is and how it started and what is your role till date. That's wonderful. Now, ma'am, there are several youngsters who are being molested or abused in their homes by their neighbors, at school, or, it could be just anywhere. They are vulnerable to assault or to abuse. Now, especially sexual abuse, they don't open up. Sometimes it's not even visible that they have been they're undergoing sexual abuse from very near and dear ones. And so you're connected with POCSO as well. So if you could share your journey on that as well.
Yes. See, when I started as actually, I did my certification on POSH, initially, and I was so, astonished to know that there were so many people who had faced this harassment and have just tolerated all their lifetime. That was an agony. That's a trauma that they have gone through, but they had no other option because they needed a job, and most of them were breadwinners of the family, and that's how they landed up putting up with all these harassment. And it actually took a toll on their mental health as they were aging, and as they have to take care of their family, as they have to pay their EMI, they were not willing to you know afford to leave the job, and they were trying to tolerate, and that actually put them in a high stress level, and their performance came down professionally. So this is when I thought, when adults were suffering so much, and we are not having awareness as well, so how come small children, okay, even the voting rights for children are given only for only given only when they are 18. So up to 18 years they are very very raw, they are vulnerable to any such acts, because they are not in a position to make a clear decision. So that is why the decision making and the voting rights is given for most of them at 18, because only the prefrontal brain develops between 18 to 24, where they can decide wisely and act. So still 18, the emotional brain is more active and energetic, and that's how they take most of the decision emotionally, and they get landing up in some kind of other issues, and they're not able to solve it out. So this is when I thought children need more awareness, and I got myself certified as a POCSO trainer as well, because lots of children, when adults themselves didn't know where to go and talk about it, or they didn't have a place to vent out, they felt that things will not be confidential, they felt that things will be labeled, they felt that their children life will be spoiled because of this. When all these things were going in for adults, just imagine this tiny thoughts, it could definitely be a repercussions for them after ages. So I didn't want to give it a ignorance call there when I was offered this course. So I immediately registered and I got myself certified in POCSO as well. And I reached out to many schools and many students who were really comfortable to vent out. Even that venting out space was very important, and they actually valued it so much. And end of the day, the amount of satisfaction I have, listening to them, or at least bringing their pain, it's a very major percentage of their pain that's getting decreased, but still I was able to make a difference. So that is what kept me encouraging and motivating, and to reach out to people to give them more of awareness, because prevention is better than cure. So when you're able to prevent, see, we're talking about good touch and bad touch, so it's just not good touch or bad touch, it's no touch other than the family member, the parents. It's no touch. We all lived in a age like that. But when there were lots of modifications done, and children didn't know how to recognize and differentiate what is good touch and what is bad touch actually. So that's where I started saying it's no touch. You can talk, you can You can give a handshake when you're comfortable. If you're not, I think you can stop there, then and there. And the children are more safe when they are given instructions in a proper manner, so that they understand, they decipher well. So if it's going to be like a command or an order, sometimes they don't follow. But when you tell them in a right way, the child actually registers things. It gets instilled in their mind, and they are also very careful. They know to draw their boundaries.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. And today, till date, I just know about this concept of good touch and bad touch. But today, I love the way you put it, no touch. Because there are several, situations as a kid, as a teenager, and till date, I wouldn't like to shake hands with somebody or maybe, have that close proximity. I would like to have my space. And imagine me speaking this now on the platform. There are so many little children who wouldn't agree to even give a handshake or somebody touch their cheek. It may be a good touch, but then if somebody doesn't want it, it's a no touch. No, it's not necessary. You have to respect
We
that.
all actually, it isn't new. We were all aware of this thing. Though we all grew up in a different, time frame, but we all were taught by one teacher. It's the COVID. You
Very
know, we all stayed without touching. It's like we knew where to draw the boundaries, and we all still existed after the 2 years also. So I think that isn't a very tough job. I think people can handle it, and once they know how to draw the line, and once they know how to protect themselves, the touches can happen. That's different. But as a small child, even the food part, the mother has to see whether the food is cooked properly, or the salt is there, or the spice is there properly added to the food, or if the food is spoiled or the fruit is spoiled. Everything the parents check, because they don't know whether the child cannot identify if it is spoiled food or good food. Similarly, such small things, the child cannot find out. How can a child find out when somebody touches them good or somebody touches them bad? They're still so confused, because it could be a father's friend, it could be a mother's relative, it could be a very good family friend, a well-wisher. So how will ever the child be in a position to find out? Because they are already under this banner of a well-wisher in the family, a relative in the family, a good friend in the family. So they don't know, when they feel that the parents have given them the recognition of being a well-wisher, a family friend, a relative, so they think they're all fine, they're all nice. So how will they differentiate between good and bad? They're still very young. So that's why I stated that no touch.
Yes, dear. That's wonderful, ma'am. Thank you very much. Ma'am, now here's the question that many of them avoid. They only think that the girl child is at risk. That's true. She is at risk. But the hidden truth is even young boys are at risk. They are being abused and molested in various ways. And they don't open up. And when they become adults, they suffer from childhood trauma. Now, I'd like you to share and let your thoughts and views with regard to even male members or the boys being abused, sexually abused in the society.
I'm very glad you brought up this question. I can start from where I left, right? So I'm very glad and I appreciate that you brought in this question, because it's a need of the hour. And of late, I've been addressing all the corporates and all the schools where I go. It's on gender equality. It's just not for women and girls. It's also for the men and the boys, because I feel they're the silent victims these days. They're not able to open up because our culture and our society has always termed men don't cry. So it's shown as a weaker sign if men is crying, or men is trying to vent out such feelings on sexual abuse. So this is where I wanted to desensitize. I actually talk for both genders in equal. And of late, there have been loads of queries that's been raised by men, as they are also facing hostile environment or a quid pro quo in an organization, and it all falls under sexual harassment. So I address that, and they are also equally treated. And apart from POSH, which is prevention of sexual harassment at workplace for women, it is also ASH that most of the organizations have adopted. As I was trying to guide them, that ASH is anti-sexual harassment policy, which is important, where the men can complain or register and their query to the organization. So most of the organizations have welcomed that, and they have adopted both POSH and ASH policies in their company protocols. So I'm very happy that both genders are met, and they're all in the equal scales. So it is very important, as you stated, men or women, or a boy or a girl, we are all basically under the one spectrum called human beings, and we all need justice. So mental health is also important for all the other people involved around them, because one person is affected in the family. It's again just not that one person, it's a whole family that goes through all this trauma and stress. So that is why we are there to contribute to both genders. So when I talk to boys and girls, I tell them how to handle themselves, how to talk out, how to bring it and share it to their parents, whatever is, unpleasant unpleasant to them, and they don't, it's not welcoming certain acts or certain words that's communicated is not welcoming. They have to go and immediately tell the school psychologist or the parents. So that's how we tell the children to reach out for help immediately, and then and there. So it is for both genders, and we are equal.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing all of that. Thank you so much. We are not gender biased, dear friends. We love each one of you and respect you on this planet. Yes, dear. Ma'am, now we've been speaking about the male and the female members, the feminine and the masculine gender. Are we forgetting about the third gender? Because they are also highly traumatized by the society, and especially with their sexuality, they are being, harassed in n number of ways. Now, do they also come under the POSH Act?
Yes, they do come under the POSH Act. I was just trying to mean the gender bias and gender equality, including the third gender, because they also belong to the society and they need justice, as most of them are already ignored, or being abandoned by the family. And these days there are lots of people who grow up with struggle, and they are vulnerable to people, and they don't have a proper system to navigate their professional growth. Sometimes they are having lots of barriers that they have to cross and come. Finally they land up in a job, and if they're going to face a harassment there, they can definitely raise up, and it is equal for all genders, in the sense it's for the male, female, and the transgenders. So they are equal with all genders, and definitely they can raise them.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing all of that with lots of clarity. Dear ma'am, now we'll talk about emotional well-being. Now, many of us are drowned in our emotions. It could be me, it could be you too. Now, what is prioritized? Emotional intelligence. Would you like to share your thoughts with regard to EQ?
Okay. Emotions are there, as you said rightly, even for the wisest man, or even for the smallest child, or the old wise man. It's like anybody can go through an emotional trauma, or emotional uh, disturbances could come up to anybody. It's not that they're highly educated, or they're from a low economic background. No such criteria. It's like, it serves everyone the same. That's how emotional trauma occurs for anybody at any time. So we cannot ignore the red flags when we are seeing or viewing our loved ones around us. So when you look at someone going through an anxiety or stress or depression, and if you see the red flags here and there, just don't judge or just don't label them, because these days even children their emotional quotient, or when they are tested on all the emotions, the potential quotient, the intellectual quotient, and the emotional quotient. In school levels also, sometimes people are labeled. So we don't want that kind of jargons to be used on children, because being a child psychologist, I also feel that actually puts down their self-esteem. So it has to be gauged by a certified clinical psychologist on how their levels are, whether they are mild, moderate, or severe. And emotional intelligence is even more important than intellectual quotients, because it is supposed to be the most important thing, because of late we see a lot of suicides happening, and the graph has been raised. And according to the research, 15 to 30 years, that's the peak age for that's actually showing so much of suicidal deaths in the country. So that is so alarming. And being a mental health professional, it actually is a concern for all of us, that we have to make them emotionally strong, more resilient. And they'll have to be outspoken. See, we see a person, there is nothing like a person who is an introvert will only commit suicide, and extrovert will not. So emotional quotient differs to people to people. It is not the same for everyone. That is also like, again, a fingerprints. It differs for the same symptom. It doesn't apply for the other person. So anyone can commit suicide, and anyone can turn out to be suicidal or self-infliction behavior, SIB, can be seen. Or you have to be very careful if it is seen with your friends, or with your siblings, or with your family members. Please tell them that counseling is not a stigmatized place, or counseling is just a wellness. We all actually go to counseling whenever we want to, or we talk to our mentors when we are feeling drained, or when we go through some kind of trauma. That's because when we try to talk, we get a solution. We get it's not a place where people advise you, it's a place where they facilitate you. So this facilitation is actually needed for each and every individual, because that actually helps us groom ourselves. Earlier, I think even 30 years, 40 years back, there never used to be a saloon. I mean, I'm talking about a beauty parlor. It could be in outskirts of the city, or it's inside the city, or the place where a beauty parlor was found. I remember, even my mother used to take me to a beauty parlor, almost 2-3 kilometers away from where we resided, because beauty parlors were supposed to be a place where it was still stigmatized. People, normal people, will not walk in for a haircut or for any other facial or anything those days. I still remember that. And looking at that, I was able to figure out how people were not willing to groom themselves, or even the physical hygiene was considered to be just having a bath and taking care of themselves at home. That's fine, that's fine, perfectly fine, I agree. But just a bit of beautification was not encouraged. They thought going to a beauty parlor is a high funda stuff, and it's not advised for children, or people from middle class or from low class people. That's how it was a taboo or a stigma those days. But now we find each and every street corner having at least two beauty parlors, and everyone use the service of the beauty parlor. They go to spa, they actually get rejuvenated, refreshed, and we really appreciate that point. So when we are trying to give so much of importance to physical health, similarly mental health, because mind and body is integrated, it is equal. So that's how we have to treat. We should not be biased between the mind and the body. So similarly, we call this mental hygiene. That's why I actually applied that term very often. There is no stigma, there is no taboo towards mental health. It is only for the wellness. Anybody can come and talk to a psychologist. It is not necessary that they are, having a mental retardation, or they are having facing intellectually challenged disorders or, other things. It's absolutely perfect to meet a psychologist and talk on mental hygiene just to improve their mental wellness. So we have therapies for disorders. We have, lot of occupational therapies, remedial therapies, special education. If children are slow bloomers, and of late, gerontology, I mean, the geriatric is also very buzzing, where parents are staying, they face the empty nest, and most of the children are abroad. They don't have time for themselves, or then they try to grieve about a lost partner who's been with them all through for 30 years or 40 years, and they're aging, they're scared of death, or they would have lost a sibling of their own age. And all these traumas are there even for elderly people, and we also counsel them. So emotional intelligence is just not with children or in adolescent stage or in midlife. It is also for geriatrics. So the age span for all stages, the emotional quotient has to be addressed and it has to be given importance.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Dear ma'am, one very important question and a very sensitive one. Financial independence. Now, due to lack of financial independence for either of the genders, a lot of mental stress, takes place. Like they're suffering from within. In case if they had a lot of finances, or they have a lot of properties that they have inherited from their ancestors, and they are financially well off, then it's okay. They can even afford for mental health checkups, or maybe a mental health session, a counseling session, etc. But there are several people who are not financially independent, and that is a major cause that they don't come forward to meet or to seek counseling and guidance. So I'd like to know, is there any free counseling sessions?
Yes, actually, people think this is also an issue. People think it is too expensive or exorbitant to meet a psychologist or take a, assessment done. But at Yuvathi, as I said, there are lots of NGOs which cater towards mental health these days. And we give a lot of workshops which are free. We give them awareness sessions, and if they are underprivileged, free sessions are done. And at a very minimal cost of 500 or 300 sessions are done for people who cannot afford, or free counselings are done for people at foster homes. I am associated with a few foster homes, with geriatric home, with intellectually challenged home. We counsel their parents, we go there, we sit and eat with them, we spend a day. We take internships for students where they go and reach out and they try to learn, because hand-on experience is very important when it comes to service-based professions. So that is how we train them to counsel and facilitate people. And we do offer free counseling, and we welcome people to reach out to our trust or to one of us, so that we are a team of people who can attend to number of sessions and people. We are there ready and willing to listen to the people who want to talk to us, genuinely find a solution and try to implement it.
Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that. Now, there are several housewives who hide all their emotions just because they have children right in front of them. They mask their emotions very well, but they're deeply hurt within, either due to the attitude of their better halves or their in-laws. What do you have to share about this particular situation of a housewife being traumatized, but holding it up, masking her emotions so well, just because she would like to emerge as a strong person in front of her children?
Yes, women do face this even in this 2024. We see a lot of women suppressing their feelings and sacrificing their career for bringing up the children. Initially, though we celebrate Women's Day, we call it Women's Day, and we celebrate it by cutting cake. We organize so much of workshops, we organize functions. There's lots of discount sales going on for Women's Day. When all that is happening, I only tell the women, It's like the first spark happened in Russia in a textile industry during 1919, when they just wanted to end the war because the family was suffering. They were not able to have food. So they just wanted to, find bread and peace. So that was a slogan for the Women's Day. And that's how later the UN had, given a proper date for celebrating Women's Day in 1945. But still, the first spark, when they stood out with the slogan, "We need bread and peace." So that was a slogan long, 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 long ago. But now, after 100 years of all that difficulty and, raising, flags and revolting, there's being a revolt against peace and bread. Now we celebrate Women's Day. We are more empowered, and most of the women are there in almost all the profession, and we are also the breadwinners of the family. But all that we need is the internal peace. So we are almost, we getting education, we are getting motivated by parents to study. Earlier it was not like that. It used to be very biased, but now slowly things are changing. But still, certain people, as you say, especially women, even if they're educated, due to certain issues to take care of the children or the in-laws, they not able to do well or perform, and they get into a vicious circle of just sitting at home and doing their household work and not getting respect. They feel ignored, and they go through emotional toil, because lots of their friends might be posting on social media. These days social media is also an important factor, which really puts people down emotionally. And that's how they actually go into a stress level or depression level, or they face a lot of PMS or emotional imbalances due to, and it actually ends up health wise also. It affects their health wise also, because they go through a lot of hormonal imbalance due to the stress, and physically also they have to suffer. So this is where we always tell the women to keep a network, to at least be in a group where they can discuss. Not necessary it has to be a professional group. It could also be their friends or their neighbors, childhood neighbors, or people who are around them. We ask them to talk, share. It will be a common group. That way they get a group therapy. So it's like, though they are at home, they're homemakers. It's homemakers is not just an easy joke. They are unpaid, and they are always overworked, and they're unpaid. And that is actually a lot of work that involves for a person when they are at home. Even we feel that when we go out, we are more prone to just meet people and have enough rest and sit under a cabin, counsel, and get back. But the time we spend at home, that could be equally double the amount of energy, because we cannot sit. We'll be always on the toes trying to clean or dust or do something or the other. So that's why we tell women, always have a group, and always read more, and always concentrate on physical health. You can go out you can exercise. These days you have lots of Zoom online session where you can do yoga, where you can do mandala therapy, where you can actually do Zumba. So just get yourself occupied, because idle mind is always devil's workshop. Don't sit alone. Enough of talking about another woman or pulling down another woman in a coffee table. Let's get empowered. Let's start that magic. Be it a professional, you're working or you're not working, that doesn't make a difference. You have to, financial independence is very important. These days you have lots of online jobs where they can actually try to rope themselves, or online tuitions for children. Even vernacular languages, sometimes people are not able to have or find a proper tuition for their child in Tamil or Hindi or other regional languages. So that's when you can actually take it up and teach the child, even 1 hour of teaching a child, because they're not willing to send them to tuition centers, because picking up, dropping them all becomes a big Herculean task. So they're looking for online. COVID has taught us to connect online. So maybe you can also teach that. So even a small way, independently. Now cloud kitchens are getting high in numbers. People, try to even cater a small to 20 people or 10 people with salads or soups or some organic stuff. So cloud kitchen, so they can try out that. And financial independence is very important. And in case if they're not able to, balance that financial independence with within the family due to the family dynamics, or it's a conservative family, at least try to keep yourself, take a lot of self-care for yourself, and do some physical workouts and keep yourself refreshed.
Yes, dear. We thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing all the expertise that you've, had through all these years of experience. Thank you very much. One last question, dear. How do people connect with you now? If people would like to connect you for your services and the way you've shared today, they want to just bond with you and network with you. What is the best way to reach you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm there to share my email ID, or I'm sharing my mobile number. I don't mind because it's there already with a lot of people. We share it on posters, on social medias. Anytime I'm willing to share it through International Fab Talks, you can reach out to me, you can message me. I will definitely revert back. And, other than that, if you want to reach out to us, it could be the website. I will also share the website address where you can go through the NGOs activities that's been done. So it's a pleasure staying connected to people and, serving the cause. Our only aim is to make people happy, and in case you have any issues or barriers, how to cope up, to empower them with a coping mechanism rather than to struggle with it. So this is what we want to lend out. That is what we want to share to people, so that we don't want them to suffer. Suffering is enough. So together we can grow, and there is a lot of knowledge transfer that could happen through workshops. You can enroll in workshops, you can enroll with us as interns so that you can learn as students. So all these opportunities and platforms are available. So we are looking forward for a healthy and, a satisfied and a happy lifestyle with everyone.
Yes, dear. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. Much appreciated your time today on the International Fab Talks. It's really wonderful that we had your presence, because you've enlightened us with various topics and how we could empower ourselves. That's really nice. My dear friends, we'll share ma'am's contact details in the description when we share this video link. And friends, don't forget to share this wonderful video with the right kind of people, the right kind of students. It could be either gender, whichever you feel, whoever you feel really needs to view this video and listen to all the important things that were discussed. Do share it with them. Ma'am, thank you so much for being a part of our journey, dear, to empower people and to create happiness in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And happiness should also be contagious. Let's start spreading it. Thank you.
Wonderful. That's really so nice. So happiness should be contagious. Please spread love and happiness across the world. And don't forget to be connected with our celebrity and guest. She's Gayathri ma'am from Chennai. You could bond with her. We shared her details in the description, as I earlier mentioned. For now, it's a goodbye from the International Fab Talk team. Do us a favor, share this video. And if you like what we are doing, stay connected with us. Encourage us and support us by giving a like and a wonderful comment as well. Above all, do share this video. Stay blessed, stay safe, and of course, build a beautiful world for yourself and your family. Thank you, dear.
So much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. Have a wonderful time. God bless.